independent. You know it. You love it. You can't live without it. Rockland World Radio.
Relationship Goddess Medicine Show, where you get legit, licensed, psychologically sound, professional miracle cures for relationship insanity. And this is our second episode. I'm so excited to be here. It was actually really hard for me to go all week before I could get back here. The first show was last week. It was so exciting. Thank you for tuning in. And we're here again. And I'm your host, Yaj. I should say who I am. I'm your host, Yaj. I am a licensed marriage and family therapist. I don't like the name of the license, but I'm not going to go take it up with New York State. I wish it was licensed relationship therapist, or how about licensed relationship goddess? That would be the license I would like to have. What else? Certified Imago relationship therapist, Imago, the work of Harville Hendricks, Getting the Love You Want, author of that, with his wife Helen LaKelly Hunt. And so there you go, credentialed miracle cures today. And I'm here in the studio with a musical guest. We have David Frye off on the sidelines, who'll be joining us a little bit later on with some live art, music, performance art, and just live David, special treat. So today, first of all, when I was waiting on the sidelines to come on, I heard the folks, I don't know their name, at the chat room, their show, the chat room, and I overheard them talking about computer dating, so I just wanted to give a shout out to the people over at the chat room, a show that's every Monday right here at noon. Thank you, Richard, Quinn. And I loved, hearing that they were saying, some people are still sort of trepidatious about computer dating, but it is the 21st century. You don't want to do it, don't do it. And I said last week, and I'll say it again, and I'll share more and more as time goes on, that I have started computer dating. I'm separated. I'm single mom. And, years ago, I was like, oh, God, I don't know if I'd ever do it. And it's really not that bad. But it's not what we're devoting today's episode to. I actually am having fun with it, and I have really good dating tips. I have an article coming out, I guess April, in Natural Awakenings of Rockland County, with my dating tips for early on, like first or second date tips of how to avert disasters. I have an article coming out in Natural Awakenings about that, and I'll be sharing more about that in future shows. But for today, oh my goodness, I need more medicine. Spent all morning on the phone with Verizon and Cablevision, that kind of thing with the automated stuff. So I'm like just coming off that. I need my tension tamer tea. Let's all take a sip of a beverage.
It's cold.
My God, it's enough to almost kill your soul being on those automated frickin', press 3, press 1, and then you're like, say no, and they, I'm sorry, we didn't hear your response. So I want to light a candle. That's what I want to do. We always light a candle. And like I said last week, candles are company. You can say your prayers. I invite you to light a candle at home with me, sort of set the sacred space. But I don't get into any big prayers and invocations and invitations here on the Medicine Show, at least not yet. I just say it's company. Join us, bring in the light. My mommy always said it was company. And my Tibetan sandalwood incense to set the tone. So I say, I like doing these things. It sets a sacred tone. You can watch it. Can you hear it? I can smell it. And I invite you to join me at home, creating a sacred space if you're tuning in so we can all feel, put on some soft music in the background. I'm spoiled. I have live music in the background. It's so nice. Okay, so now we have sacred space. It's that simple, right? I stand in sacred space. I sit in sacred space because I say so. So last week, I introduced myself. I talked about why the relationship goddess. I talked about why I'm calling the show the Medicine Show. I talked about a bunch of stuff. And I mentioned, as I just did, that I'm separated. And there's humor on the show. There's fun. I'm really about like real deal relationship advice, relationship miracle cures, but really entertainment and having fun at the same time. But I did mention last time, I'm separated and, I am fairly light about it, but I didn't want to be too light about it. So I actually wanted to talk a little bit today about divorce, about separation and divorce, just for a few minutes. And I had an experience the other night at a party. I've had this experience before, but it was like the volume, it goes to 11. My best friends are the ones who get my Spinal Tap references. I don't even have to ask David if he got that. This one went to 11 with this particular thing. And maybe some of you, maybe you've had this happen to you, David, but when people say, oh, I'm separated or I'm divorced, and someone says, oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I've had it happen to me. I've been present when it happens to other people, and the other night it was happening to someone else. But it was so ridiculous because I was at this party. I choose not to reveal the exact nature of the party. Keep you guessing.
Oh, tease.
I know. Like I said, can I be 100% myself? But let me just say that this party was a party where it was about joyous celebration of things that make us feel alive and really fun and just cool and fun and out there. And I was standing around with this couple and this other guy and me, and we were just kind of schmoozing. And this couple are dating. They're together, and they're both. I think one was saying that she was getting divorced, but we had just high-fived over it. Me and this woman had just woo! Just because that's what our truth was in the moment. For some people, it's freedom, liberation. There's no I don't take it lightly, it's just one big joking matter. I'm a single mother of 2 children adopted from China that I did everything, in my power to get my kids and, try to make it work. But some relationships.
Another thing we have in common.
Well, that's right. I forgot about that. You have a child adopted
and got
from.
divorced a year later.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I need a little private moment with David.
We'll bring them in on
Yeah, from China.
Yes.
That's right.
Amazing, and it took a long time. It takes a long
Yeah,
time.
yeah. It took a long time. So I don't take it lightly. Marriage. I'm not like that. But it's just for me, and for many people, the decision finally, because it wasn't made overnight. Believe me, it was years of suffering. Frankly, I'm writing a book about it, where it was enough. Ganoog, as my mother says. I quote my mother a lot. Enough. It's time. We really need to, it's done. It expired years ago. Okay? So it's time to move forward. Very liberating. And I just met her, but clearly had some kind of resonance with that because we had just high-fived. I was like, oh yeah, me too. High five. And we're in our thing. And right after that, this guy was like, oh, you're divorced, or oh, you're getting divorced? I'm so sorry. And I was like, it was just bizarre. I mean, it's one thing if someone just hears, I'm getting divorced, or I'm divorced, I'm separated, and some people go oh, I'm sorry. But this was we had literally just woohoo! I'm so sorry. I was like, are you paying attention at all to the end? Can you read energy at all? No offense, but that's the kind of thing where I'm all right, I'm not interested in even continuing. I was remember, what was it? Not Kids in the Hall. Was it Mad TV? They had a skit once where it was like how to like handle yourself at a party or something, and the line was, "I'm gonna walk a few feet away." I loved that. I loved that. It was just like, not like, oh, I got to go to the bathroom, or I have to get this call. It was
I
like,
remember that.
oh, you remember that?
No,
You got to remember that.
Use it.
It was, I didn't say it out loud, but I have. But I was just like, I'm going to walk a few feet away just because I wanted to be with people that like get shit. Richard told me I could curse last week, so we can curse, by the way.
Damn,
Who get it, you know? And I was just like, dude. So what I want to say a little bit about this, like, I'm sorry. So, daily dose. I decided today I'm going to call it, it's the medicine show. So the dose of the day, relationship tips, dose of the day. There'll be another one probably later, but like, this is my main dose of the day. Someone you're meeting on the street, a friend, a stranger, at a party, a first date, a whatever, I'm separated, or I'm divorced, or I'm going through a divorce, or I'm getting divorced, or anything like that. If you don't know what to say, it's sort of like people when they don't know what to say when you tell them, your cat died, or your mom died, or, That, by the way, is a little bit more appropriate of I'm sorry. Yeah. But even there, you want to be careful how you lay it on too thick and project your own stuff on there. You want to read the energy. So what I do when someone says, I'm getting divorced or something like that, is I say, is it, I'm sorry, kind of condolences or congratulations? I ask. Yeah. And a lot of people say, oh, it's congratulations. And then I go, all right, and we high five. Knowing that, of course, there was pain and suffering, and if they choose to share that with me, too. But I don't just assume that it's, oh, I'm so sorry. That's awful, because a lot of people are relieved that they finally had the courage, the strength, the faith, the money to put an end to something, to, cleanly end something that was dying, that was on, that expired, that was no longer serving them, and that they're free to live the rest of their lives, it might be scary, there still might be pain, grief, unresolved stuff, but so that's my daily dose. I'm sorry or congratulations, because then it gives the person the opportunity to receive something other than like this thing about like you feel like you have to take care of other people because they're so sad that you're getting divorced, or like, like it gives them the opportunity to celebrate if that's real for them. They could say, maybe it's the first time. Maybe it's the first time someone asked them that. And they can say, oh, you can say congratulations.
Yeah, or you can just simply say, are you okay?
Yeah.
I
don't like, are you okay? I gotta say, David, I love you. I gotta say, I don't like, are you okay?
Okay, tell me why.
Oh, God. All right.
No, I'm serious. That's a
No, I know. I don't like that line at all. Okay. I'll tell you when I use that line at all. I train my now almost 8-year-old daughter that if you're in the house or with someone and they go, ow!
Oh.
If you hear from like down the hall, or from the other room, like, ow, shit! Or like, that you might want to yell in, are you all right? But even better to run in and say, are you okay? But even then, I'm not really crazy about, are you okay? I've trained my daughter to say, I'm sorry you got hurt. Is there anything I can do? Yeah. Because I'm clearly not okay if I'm screaming and cursing and lying on the kitchen floor, like holding my toe. Are you okay? But the are you okay is just a little, I'm such a nitpicker about this.
This is
it's
interesting.
A little, yeah, it's a little.
This is a leftover response for people because people used to not be free to divorce.
Oh, for that. Oh, for anything. Right,
yeah,
right.
It's probably the only thing that
are you okay?
holds them back.
Are you okay? Can put the person who's being asked in the position of feeling like, like A, they might have to take care of the person who's asking because they're worried about them. Right. B, it's like, oh, how do I answer that? But I prefer something like a statement rather than a question. So the question of is it I'm sorry or condolences or is it congratulations, then you read that energy. And then I prefer the statement of something, God, there's so many things you could say. You could say something like, well, I know that no matter what, it's a big deal and I'm there for you if you want to talk, or if you ever want to meet and share, I'm here if you need someone to talk to. Or it could be something like, I went through it myself, I know it's a big deal, my thoughts are with you, my prayers are with you, or go you, or rather, are you okay?
You know,
It's okay. I don't really like it. The person might say I'm fine. It could put the person a little on the defensive.
Yeah, they have to respond.
They
They're
have to,
taking
like-
care of you now.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just. I think it's safer and just more clean and more likely to have a nice connection with a person to just say, "Wow, I, again, if they were like, well, if you say condolences or congratulations and they say, then they'll answer it. That's sort of a way of saying, are you okay?
Yeah.
Is it congratulations or is it, I'm sorry? And if they say, well, they might not answer your question directly, but they might say, well, I'm really going through a lot. Then you know. And then you can reach out and touch their arm if you have that kind of relationship with them, or you can just say, I hear you and I get it, and if you ever want to talk sometime. So anyway, that's my little thing. But even if you're getting hurt, like if you see someone's like, ow, 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 and you walk up to them and you're like, are you okay? It's sort of like, totally. They have to come out and now take care of your stupid question, as opposed to, what do you need? Can I get something for you? Or I've called the nurse, or if it's at a school, or like, do you need something, or can I help you? Can I help you? Anyway. Dose of the day. Ask. Don't just assume. It's, I'm so sorry. So today, I might as well, little segue into the what the hell am I wearing portion of the show. What the hell am I wearing? I had a lot of fun with this last week. What the hell am I wearing? From Romantic Depot. And I'm shouting you out because of the amazing discount that Mara gives me over there to get my wardrobe pieces for the Relationship Goddess Medicine show. I saw this on the rack. It's not exactly what you necessarily would think. Romantic Depot, in addition to fine accessories of a mature nature, of an adult nature, which is not necessarily beyond the scope of this show, but beyond the scope of this episode. They have lingerie and all kinds of, sexy things for women to wear. And then I saw this, and I was like, oh my God, that's hilarious. I have to have it. And it's like the Dia de los Muertos? Dia de la Muerta. It reminded me of like the Mexican traditional, it's South American.
You found it there. It's
I know.
Sort of the Latin American.
Yeah. But it's like Mexico's really famous for it.
Yeah,
It used to be in the summer, and then they put it to All Hallows Eve, Halloween. They do it for like 3 days, though. They have parades with skeletons.
So the church doesn't freak out. So.
Yeah, and it's like, but it's laughing in the face of death, but it's also honoring. And that it just really fits with the show. Laughing in the face of divorce, laughing in the face of the challenges life throws us, laughing in the face of relationship challenges, laughing in the face of of death, whether it's the death of a marriage or the death of whatever, but still honoring the ancestors, honoring the suffering, honoring the journey. So I got this because today I was just kind of laughing in the face of divorce. That was like sort of my mood coming in, and I'll say more also in a moment because you have to just check this out. I mean, look at this. I can't stand up because then the camera won't get me, and there's no one behind the camera right now. But check it out. Romantic Depot.
It's amazing.
It's kind of amazing. It's kind of amazing, and it was just, it's fun. So, what does it mean to laugh in the face of death, right? And this could lead into, whoa, that clock is wrong. He didn't change his daylight savings time. Another way that I'm sort of laughing in the face of death, this is the Relationship Goddess Medicine show. It's all kinds of relationships. We don't just talk about romantic life partner relationships. There's family relationships, parenting. In some episodes I'm going to get really into parenting. Who knows, maybe David and I will get into talking about parenting.
Get me going.
And adult relationships with aging parents is a really, really big one. And it's really, really big and up for me these days. So another way I'm sort of laughing in the face of death is that I just decided on Friday to have my elderly mom move in with me.
It's huge.
Which is huge, and it's something that I never thought I would do. And I just want to share a little bit about this because It was very humbling. She was in assisted living, and then she went to the hospital. She had a heart attack a few weeks ago, and then she was in and out of rehab because she kept having these abdominal symptoms that kept sending her back to the hospital. It was not pretty. And I started making phone calls when I started realizing that I really don't think she's going to make it back to assisted living, and I started having to look at long-term care, which is the current euphemism for nursing home. Fine, long-term care. But nice ones, like really nice ones, right? Holy shit.
Yeah. Yes.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, she has long-term care insurance, but it would be gone, like, as fast as you could eat a potato chip with some of these places. And it was like, man. And I started feeling like I was pushed I started feeling like I was, with all the phone calls I was making, like, there was this, like I was being pushed into a corner. And I don't panic. I generally just don't panic. I don't freak out. I always trust, the sacred. I trust that there's a spiritual solution to every problem, but I just didn't. I had a moment of, like, what am I going to do? And as beloved Carolyn Mace says, you know Carolyn Mace?
Oh, yeah, yes.
M-Y-S-S, it's Mace, Carolyn Mace. I've been listening to her. On Divinity. She has a million. She wrote Sacred Contracts and Anatomy of the Spirit. She's just amazing.
That's the huge one.
Oh, but I've been listening. I listened in the car. I listened to all this stuff, and she was saying the other day, I loved it. It was like, the people who say that they don't receive guidance, people who say, I'm praying, I'm asking, I don't receive any guidance, I forget how she put it, it's like they're unconsciously they're unwilling to admit that what's really going on is they're not willing to listen to the guidance they're getting. Because if you're asking, you're receiving. And that's what she said. And maybe some of you listening are like, no, I'm not. And I understand it can really feel like that. And I have felt like that for many, 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 many years. And now I understand it doesn't, for very few people, most of the time, folks, it doesn't come in the form of the roof, the skies opening, a lightning bolt coming in, an angel standing before you saying, this is guidance. It can happen in a moment of just feeling an energetic shift in your body. And that's why I'm all about instincts. My main message with the show, with my work, is about learning to tune in to your instincts, intuition, because it happens on a bodily level. It happens. And if we're not trained, practiced in just quieting the mind for a moment and listening and feeling into the fact that we just received guidance, is another daily dose, then we won't even notice it. I'm not like judging you if you really don't experience that you're receiving guidance, but you are. If you're asking, it's there. And so it's about learning how to quiet and tune into how it feels when you receive guidance. So I'm on these phone calls, and I had a moment in my kitchen, and it was like, what the fuck am I going to do? And something just, I can't even, it's so subtle. Like, there was just this, like, and a thought, I had a picture in my mind and a thought of Mom moving in with me. That was my guidance. And if I said, it's just a thought, that's just a thought, I could, like, brush it away like a fly. I was like...
But why did you choose that thought?
Thank you. Because in that moment, I recognized guidance.
Yes.
I recognized that it wasn't just a thought of, do I want to, eat a potato chip or go to the movies? That it was like, that's what I'm supposed to do. And what happens is then we go right up into our head. But that's impossible. But that's this. But that's going to be hard. Into the head, which is the opposite of instincts and the opposite of receiving guidance. And in that moment, I got that I'm doing this because Richard was just accentuating this. So he brings out the best in me, Richard Quinn, most of the time. Enough of the time.
That's what he does.
And I got that it was guidance, so I made the decision. And I haven't even told all her families yet, but all of our family members yet. But I don't think they're tuning in. I don't know. I don't think my 91-year-old aunt is tuning in.
You're the one doing it, so
Yeah.
it's not as important.
But so the second daily dose, and then we're going to have our musical guest on, is Oh man, like really, really make an effort to notice guidance when it's coming in and the advice, the miracle cure. Okay, so the miracle cure for I'm not receiving any guidance. I don't know what she's talking about. I pray, I ask, I light candles, I burn incense. The miracle cure for that insanity and the relationship insanity would be relationship with divine guidance or, higher power guidance. The insanity of like, oh, I'm not getting any answers. I'm like, that's pretty insane, right? Is shut up, quiet your mind, and tune into your body and look for subtle shifts. They can come in thoughts, they can come in an image, but tune into that subtle, oh. And by the way, here's the daily dose. Here's the pill. You want the red one or the blue one? Okay, this is the purple one. Okay, the purple groovy truth. And Carolyn May says this, and all spiritual teachers worth their weight in Tibetan sandalwood incense or more say this. If it lands with, oh shit, no, not that, that's guidance.
Yeah.
That's guidance most of the time. So right after I had the image of Mom moving in with me, you better believe, that's another reason I listened, that I was like, oh, fuck. And that's how I knew it was guidance.
Yep.
I'm not saying, everything has to be this hard, but this hard, oh God, but when you accept it as guidance, then I got lighter. Then I was like, oh, that's my task. That's my assignment. I have to have my mom move in with me. And I choose to have my mom move in with me because I choose to follow guidance. And then I started making phone calls, and then I started making a different kind of phone call.
Yeah.
Not nursing home, how much do you cost? What am I going to do? Then I started making phone calls, and doors were opening, and lights were going off, and people were saying, oh, we'll do all of this for you, and they'll do all of this for you, and and you can do this, and the long-term care insurance can now pay for home health aid, and blah, 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 blah. And I started, So listen to guidance, train your body and your mind to listen to guidance. Cool. You ready?
Yes. And actually, I know where I'm going with this now.
Oh, now he knows where watch out. Now David knows where he's going with this. Musical guest medicine, David Frye. Woo!
Namaste.
Beloved
Cyber
David
friends.
Frye is here to be with us.
I was struck with the fact that death is just another change. And you adapt to change because change is something new. I've been developing a spoken word musical project that's autobiographical and hallucinatory. I spent a lot of time in the woods by myself watching things decay and fascinated by maggots and birds and fish and the ground waking up again in the spring. And I have a piece called, for brevity's sake, it's called The Feral Boy. And it leads into a song called Coyote. The last I heard from home was the slam of the screen door behind me, and I was gone before I knew I was gone. The lowest note of the summer perfume, a voluptuous haze of aftershave from the local English leather plant behind the ballpark across the street, and the McDonald's French fries, which clung with miraculous tenacity to the barely moving, barely perceptible July breeze. It was the fragrant and sultry musk of the swampy forest that surrounded this end of my New Jersey, New York border town. Roads had been driven deep into the usable land with just enough trees remaining to keep the bucolic storefront illusion going, with the roads christened with the names of the various industries sheltering in the cinder block steel and glass structures. The encroaching woodlands brought to heel by small detachments of migrant landscapers who ripped out any creeper and weed that lacked the discipline to grow upright and spare in accordance with the new arboreal dress code. But to me, these overlays and trappings of civilized army crew-cut lawns seem more than just arbitrary. They seem to be tenuous and ephemeral, since the swamp beyond the transplanted yew bushes and Japanese maple refused to remain discreet when on a particularly humid July scorcher, fecundity and voluptuosity and all immodesty rose up around in the grand old swamp stank bouquet, like a drunken old whore besotted and laughing to herself on her back with her legs akimbo, unapologetic and ripe as summer roadkill. Remote, weedy, inhospitable places retain their purity. Even when you build cinder block manufacturing plants that sluice the waste of whatever it makes into the groundwater beneath the bramble and dandelion offerings of kudzu. But even here, improbable, suddenly dominant, and absurdly beautiful morning glory, here beauty holds no greater sway than the ordinary. It's just more noticeable. And if you look long enough into the face of any flower, you see that the random eloquent play of color against and in every petal, pistil, and bloom is a record of a conversation between you who would receive this transmission and whoever sent them here in the first place. Driving home late last night, cold November sky, shadow on the highway left its headlight in my eye. It was the exodus from Englewood to D-neck antenna fly, Mercedes Benz and Beamers like a river running by. Coyote emerges from the wood, eyes fixed upon the tide of that German engineering and the meat that lives inside. Like a ghost, he stood there waiting for his chance to get across. He looked sublimely out of place, but he did not look lost. No, he did not look frightened by the presence of the ones who swallowed up his habitat and laid poison for his son. Well, the eagle and the vulture turning circles overhead. One would snatch the breath of life, one politely waits until you're dead. Oh, coyote sniffs the air, the black-eyed crow and carrion dance. Some will make the crossing, and some never stood a chance. Now every home and family will come before the worm, and he lavishes his attention to each in their own turn. No one knows the hour, and no one knows the day, but a predator is indifferent to the terror of his prey. And we lock our doors and bow our heads, and we pray that the sun will rise, deliver us from the darkness. And those hungry watching eyes, and those hungry watching eyes.
Yay.
Thank you.
So awesome. Why don't we chat a little bit? You have another
Yes,
one,
something
right?
like that, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do, I'll wait. It would be
I forgot to
impolite.
kiss you, and then the camera was on you, and I didn't want to, I forgot to, we actually know each other. He's not a stranger to me, so I wanted
Just
to kiss
strange.
you. He's just strange.
Nice to see you. Thank you for having me on your show.
You're welcome.
This is a pleasure.
Wow, so, right, like, do I pick good musical guests or what?
You know, I gotta say,
Wow.
I'm a little biased on the results here, but
So I'm so
It's a-
pleased to have you. That was amazing. And so spoken word, how long have you been doing spoken word?
it's really recent. My mother, my departed beloved mother, she passed in August,
That's
is
right.
a writer, and actually one of my favorite pictures of her is she's posing with Robert Bly. And they
Wow.
both have the same white hair. It's wonderful, they look related. But she got me involved in the Block Island Poetry Project, and I actually participated in workshops where there was 5 poet laureates in the room, and they had an exercise where they just said, write something, 15 minutes, and then read it. And I just, it's probably because I'm from Jersey, I just didn't care, you know.
Yeah, I
just
got that you're from
went
Jersey.
for it.
That,
Yeah.
that came through. In the,
I just love the idea of language, you know, rock and roll. I mean, it just the energy of good poetry and
Well, I
the
mean,
appropriate
songwriting
music.
is poetry, so it probably is not too much of a. I mean, I know it's different, but it's for someone who's been songwriting for many years,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It probably was easy. I don't know.
It's easy for me. In fact, that actually really effective songwriting, you gotta parse away. It's
Like you mean like the
you
verses and the chorus and the bridge.
It's a great discipline of getting
Yeah.
a larger idea in 3 minutes. That's a form of genius there.
Yeah.
And I like the language. I don't worry so much about a good song being poetic, but it's all I ever try to do. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if it's a good song, it's a good song that stands on its own, but I like the words to lay well on the page and to work rhythmically. I don't have a lot of patience for moon, June, spoon, croon, rhyme sequences, unless it's funny and clearly what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, Dylan did that a lot.
Oh, sure.
And
What's that video with the with that
that
assassination?
cranky bastard with the and he was out of sequence, and he's doing that in front of Allen Ginsberg, if you remember.
Oh,
the video.
yes.
Who is a huge influence to me. And
But
yes.
we could digress and go down a million bunny trails. Allen Ginsberg could open up a whole big thing. But so, are you saying that you've really been doing spoken word since your mother left this physical plane?
Just prior to it.
Wow.
I actually started in the first place I did it was. This is amazing, and it's kind of this story. I'll tell it really quick. I had a ticket in Block Island that I didn't pay, and
Like
I
a
missed the
parking
court
ticket,
date.
or?
Yeah, it was more of a
Speeding
disturbing the
ticket?
peace thing, where they were like, "All right, you rotten kid," and you're, but it's a big,
boy.
but it's a big deal there, I'm not a drunken loudmouth. I'm just a loudmouth.
Oh, okay.
But at any rate, I missed it because I was in Montana. My grandson was born. And I came back and I did a show at the church, the spoken word thing, and I did a free improv at the end where I just had this loop playing that I build these loops, and the minister is sitting in the audience, and I just said into the mic, looking at him, I said, "He maketh for me a banquet in the presence of mine enemies," which is from the Lord's Prayer. And he got up and he riffed on that, and then unbeknownst to me, while I was doing that, off to the left there were two policemen waiting to arrest me.
Oh, wow.
So I was hauled away from my first spoken word
That's
performance.
hot, though. That's hot.
Yeah, it was like, talk about edge. And the minister was pissed. He's like, "You're breaking a 1,000-year agreement between the churches." And I was like, no. Like
Wow.
Jesus, I put the ear back on the cop, but
It's a good scene out of your movie, of your life.
yeah, it
It's
was
a few songs. You could get a few songs and
Well-
some spoken word out of that.
Well,
alone.
now I can, but it was an immense
No, of
bummer
course.
at the time.
Of course,
but it's
of course.
But now I have the credentials to have enough self-pity to be a good writer.
Exactly. Wait.
So, there we go. Yeah.
And not so much so that you're disabled from writing.
Oh no.
Right. It's like walking the line.
So you can't. They say you need to suffer to sing the blues. No, you can do almost nothing while you're suffering. Your art is to help you heal. Choosing suffering is a fool's task, and only a fool would do that. But there's people who don't drink deeply enough for life. Have really safe lives, and it's hard. But I don't begrudge wealthy people having their things.
Happy people. Which are not always the wealthy people.
Happy. I'm good with occasionally being in a decent mood.
Me too.
I'm okay with that.
Me too. I'll take it.
So it's a transient thing, and to be able to recognize that, it's not some joyless Zen exercise. It's like, no, I feel bad, but I'm going to feel good again.
Yeah.
To recognize the cycles.
Is he a deep cat? I think with all my guests, I'm going to be like, we have to have you back. We have to have you back and just talk for an hour.
Oh, I
think
love
I need a
that,
2-hour show. I think I do need the Sonny and Cher show.
Really? We'll get those vests. And you got to grow your hair out again.
Sonny and Cher meets Dr. Phil, meets Sandra Bernhard, meets Dr. Ruth, meets Betty Dodson, meets
Network.
Howard Stern, meets Charlie Rose, meets. So do you have another song you want to play?
Yeah.
Okay. Laughing in the Face of Death, David Frye.
Here's a song I called Jerusalem Road, where I did the exercise of I just picked up my guitar and I looked at the spines in the bookcase that were in front of me, and the word Jerusalem popped out. And you going? Would you mind an old man tagging along? I'm old and useless now, and you look young and stupid. But on a good day, I'm wise and you're still young and strong. Well, this road seen so many like us, so many hungry pilgrims without a clue. But hey, I hear we won't need our shoes when we enter the city. The palm leaves they lay underneath our feet will do. Oh, the wind blows cold as the sun goes down, and you know it's bound to go down every day, yeah, yeah. But when it comes back up, it's like it never went away. The bright burning all warm in every soul down Jerusalem Road. I live long enough to see a century come turning. The old industrial dreams just shrivel and die. Did you really think your acid fantasies could feed your family? Could you light a city with a twinkle in your eye? And when the incense burned away, the dawn came rising. Only the hand upon the plow could break the ground. And those who hadn't crawled into the belly of the monster began the healing work, lesson for the rising sound, and for the songs of freedom and the words of love, to break down these walls of hatred and despair, yeah. You'll recognize the singer. He's a man who'll help a man with the burden of his load long Jerusalem Road. No, I'm not sorry for something I didn't do. Just kinda sad for the mess we've left to you. Who knows where the future now will lead us? We'll figure it out, I'm sure, by and by. 'Cause it's a fool who thinks he'll change the world with laughter, love. But it's a bigger fool who doesn't even try to hear the songs of freedom and the words of love, to break down your walls of hatred and despair. Despair, you will recognize that singer. He's a man like you who helps a man with the burden of his load down Jerusalem Road. Down Jerusalem Road. Jerusalem Road.
Am I supposed to clap if it's just me? Is that
No,
good? No, I'm not.
that pleasant moaning you just did is just
The
Perfect.
moaning I did was good?
Yeah, I
The
like it.
moaning I did was
Moaning is good.
Because when it's just one person, the clapping could sound too weird, right?
A distancing effect.
Yeah, so instead, I'm
Oh,
gonna...
thank you, darling.
Mwah. Mwah. That was really beautiful.
Thank you.
I love
Thanks.
how you told the story of how you just did that
Yeah,
improvisational thing of
Yeah.
just whatever popped out at you, and then you used that to write a song, and what a beautiful song. That's a real artist, man. Like, just give me something, and I'll just make something of it.
It's interesting because I work best with a gun trained in my head.
Yeah, that's great.
And I never thought I was...
Write a song, now, about this word. Do it. Some people work well under pressure. So...
Orange, a song about orange. Anyway.
It's so awesome having you on. Is there anything you want to plug? Shameless
Yes.
plug?
I'm in several bands. I'm in, the David Frye Quartet, or Trio, if we can't afford it. And Flying Jalapenos got a gig coming up. We're doing a benefit on April 10th at at Bailey's Smokehouse in Blauvelt. I'm playing the Farmers Market on the 10th as well. It's free, so come on
Farmers
down.
Market in Nyack.
Nyack. Thank you. And
Nyack, New York.
Yes, and I'm in Reverend Jefferson, which is a loving tribute to the Jefferson Airplane, not the Starship. And we're playing Maushunk Opera House in Pennsylvania in May, and I'm totally psyched about that. We're also playing, the Jalapenos are playing at Dave & Buster's, complete whores.
It's fine.
And we're getting paid.
Or
which is
like
good.
a ripe roadkill
like
with legs
ripe
akimbo,
yes.
askew. Love it. I know, I picked up on that. I was like, I want to be that whore, except for the ripe summer
The
roadkill
ripe thing,
part.
there's
Yeah.
no need to go that far. You can, you can enjoy the benefits of
Whoring,
whoredom.
sometimes whoring's good.
Yeah.
So is there a website where people can get all this information?
Well, the Flying Jalapenos.com.
.com.
It's the Flying Jalapenos. There's some weasel who is cut in on that name. But there's
yeah.
also, there's a true despot. But there's also a girls' gymnastics team from Glasgow, Scotland called the Flying Jalapenos.
God.
Check them out, too. Why not?
We got to focus in, so I just wanted
Yes,
to know, because there's
you
a
bet.
little closing that I do that you're
Certainly.
a part of.
But I'm David Frye, Frye. Just watch Facebook. I'm always talking about this shit. So
Yay.
please come on down.
TheFlyingJalapenos.com and David Frye, Frye, on Facebook.
And
to get
Reverend
more
Jefferson.
And Reverend Jefferson. So awesome. Would you be willing to be part of our cool little closing thing that we do?
Absolutely.
Now is the time on Sprockets when we dance. Do you remember that?
Yes,
Remember
yes.
Now is the time on Sprockets now is the time on the Relationship Goddess Medicine Show when we do runes, and we're going to do this nice and quick now, where you get to ask a relationship question. Any relationship question that you're willing to say out loud. And a gun is to your head because you have to do it fast, like now.
Okay.
It's just open, like something you need guidance on. It could be, this is more specific the better, but it's okay if it's not specific.
When do you know it's over?
Ha! Right. Thank you. So reach in. These are my handmade witch's runes that I made with my daughter.
This one came right to my
You
hand.
get? Okay, and we're going to
This
see
one
what
came
it
right to
is.
my hand.
And what did you get there? Oh, you got the sun, which is one of the most powerful positive, it's one of the most powerful positive stones. Can you see that? They're chipping. I have to get varnish. But we made these. This is the witch's runes, how to make. This is a little gift I give to my guests. You get a reading
Okay.
with the divination tool of these. So the sun, so keep your question in mind. Choosing this stone indicates an event of great importance and magnitude coming into your life. The sun is numero uno among the runes and is extremely fortunate in a reading. Currently, the forces are in your favor. However, personality conflicts may have something to do with obstacles placed in your way. Expect to appear before the public or a crowd in some capacity. Okay, we only did one. You can also expect to be challenged or scrutinized more than usual. Maybe you're getting talked about more than you'd like. However, for now, it's best to just enjoy the attention. Remember, you cannot please everyone. In the long run, you'll see that it's better than being ignored. So it's best to please yourself. So when any kind of reading, you're just kind of keeping it in connection with the question you asked.
Okay.
All in all, the sun rune is greatly positive. The presence of the sun rune indicates progress and taking the correct action. Under the sun, our brightest star, everything which can grow will. And I realize that could be confusing. Are you saying the relationship can grow? But you get
Yeah.
what you need from the reading.
No, that's brilliant.
You got what you needed from
yeah.
that? So, yeah.
Yes.
I,
very much
well,
so.
you know, this is how we close with the show. The guest gets to, yeah, is that cool?
I'm also a Leo, sun sign. so
Oh, there you
yeah.
go. And last week when Katie Elovich was on and she pulled her rune, it was like mind-blowing as well. It was just like, woo! So, and of course it's because I am channeling the psychic energy that the perfect stuff, no.
No,
But
well,
I'm holding the space.
I felt it.
You felt it. You felt it. So, I'm Yaj. This is the Relationship Goddess Medicine Show. All shows are posted on YouTube at the Relationship Goddess channel. The name of the channel is the Relationship Goddess. Thank you, David Frye, for joining us
Welcome. Thank you for
hugely.
having
So
me.
great that you came on. Thank you, Richard Quinn and Rockland World Radio. You can also see the shows archived if you haven't been listening live, or you can go back and listen again, watch again. Relationship. RocklandWorldRadio.com. My website is therelationshipgoddess.com. And next week, I believe our musical guest is Glenn Schloss of For Vibration and
Ooh.
of Glenn Schloss. He's that amazing magical percussion music man
yes, I've
who
heard
does the
very,
For Vibration
very-
drum circles. But he's
yes.
also a professional. He'll tell us. I think he
Yeah, I've
writes
heard
for music and
wonderful
television
things,
and
yeah.
movies. And I believe if I can get back from my daughter's field trip in time, then we'll be here next week with Glenn Schloss. Otherwise, I have to reschedule something. Thank you. I'm going to blow. Would you like to blow? Would you like to blow?
Yes.
Blow the candle out. And thank you so much for joining us. But Richard's not here to turn off, so we're still rolling.
Okay.
So what do you want to say?
Peace, my droogies.
Yeah?
Peace out, my droogies.
This is not exactly closing, but like laughing in the face of death. I'll just say this as a closing. I had written this. I wanted to share this. That, you know, getting back to like divorce. My marriage didn't fail. This is another thing, and not to look at divorce, just a little closer with that, not to look at divorce as failure. My marriage didn't fail. It actually lasted a lot longer than it was built for.
Okay.
You know, sort of like a guitar or a car or a body or a, you know, that lasts longer than you even thought it, you know, than really it was like built for.
Yeah.
And actually, it took a long time to kill, but it had to
Yeah.
be done.
I think
Isn't that kinda like-
no lasting marriage ends in divorce. So if it ends, it's impossible.
Right.
It's happened 0 times.
Right,
Louis C.K.
no
said
lasting
0
marriage ends in
times.
divorce. So it took a long time to kill, but it had to be done, and it's not a failure. And
No.
so it's celebrating the kill. Sometimes things need to be killed. This is really interesting. We have extra time.
Wow. Yeah.
Is Richard? What? Here, you want to say something? Unless he tells me that we're off, I think we're still on.
I'm mad as hell. And I'm not going to take it anymore. This is Peter Finch. No. Was that Peter Finch? Yeah. Wow, I don't even know what to do with
So
this.
will you
You've
ask?
taken the airwaves.
Will you ask this question?
Yeah.
So are you? You don't have to get specific,
Well,
but are
I-
you taking any wisdom from that?
Yes, well,
into your life to help with this? When is it over? Question.
The
which
truth is, it isn't even about relationship for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's about relationship to me and old habits and belief systems that have been extremely
Yeah.
toxic. Because I love to be in relationship. I have a lifetime of bad thinking that I'm undoing, and It's funny how you get addicted to formats that have been horrible, but they're the devil you know.
Totally.
You know, and
Totally.
when you know it's over, it's for me to know that it's okay to let that go. You're not like maintaining the last wall of some moral castle. It is over, and it's good that it's over.
You
Now
mean the
you have
thinking
room
or
there.
the relationship?
The relationship to the thought.
Yes.
That's-
See, it's all relationships.
because
so we
that-
are,
yeah,
addiction
exactly.
is a relationship, as we all know. And if we don't know, addiction is a relationship. It's a
Yeah,
dysfunctional
hello,
relationship,
yeah,
but it's a
hello.
fucking relationship.
Yes.
And so I talk to my clients all the time about how we're addicted to our negative thinking, our self-destructive thinking, thoughts that don't serve us, our thinking period. So working intrapsychically on relationships to ourselves, on our thoughts, is still counts as relationship work, big time.
I've been divorced twice, and the thing is, there's a reason for it. And I'm trying to correct all the stuff I bought. You know, I don't want to bring the old thing with
Yeah.
me into
Yeah.
the next epoch, if you
There
will.
he is. Now we're going to get cut.
Okay.
So when is it over? I love that. I love that question, and I love that you're talking about when is it over, like this addicted
Because you
to
can't be
negative
waiting for
thoughts.
somebody else to do that for you. That's what you bring to the table.
Bingo. Yay.
No.
Healing codependency, what we're all about. can't wait for someone else to make it all better for you. Love that we're ending on that. That's
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Richard. I did thank you. You were out of the room. I thanked Richard Quinn and Rockland World Radio, and thank you so much, listeners and viewers. Mwah!
It's not just radio, it's Rockland World Radio. RocklandWorldRadio.com